Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the video. Today I'm going to be doing a brief impressions video of my Apple Watch Series 7, the 45mm. And so this is the watch. I'll take it off in its stock form. And as you can see, I have a pretty basic display on it right now, or watch face. No, I have not used every feature on this watch. I've only had it for almost a week now. As time goes on, I'll probably learn a million different things about this watch, but I don't want to make an hour-long video, and so many videos have been made about this watch. I just wanted to make one from my perspective. So this is the watch face that I normally go with. This is the other one. So this is just to give you kind of a look at what the watch looks like when I have it on my wrist. This one is a little bit much. I usually do the clock one. If I'm exercising, probably this. But anyway, here's the band. So I have the midnight model. This is the 45mm GPS and cellular version. One of the things I really like about the watch, we'll just jump into it, is that you can remove the straps pretty easily. And there's so many different straps that you can buy. So here's the watch without the straps on. It's just a little pebble of a device. This watch is an excellent device. It's an Apple product, so you already know. Wow, I put that on backwards. That's just a no-brainer. It's gonna be a high-quality device, just like iPhones are, just like iPods were. When I say this is an excellent watch, I don't mean the watch is perfect. I don't mean it's the best at everything, but I do mean it does a lot of things well. Pretty much everything that it does well. And that's typical Apple to me. This is absolutely stock. I don't have a screen protector on it. I don't have a case on it. Even though I bought a case for it, it just made it look super bulky. And I'll insert some pictures here. And I really didn't, it changed the aesthetic of the watch. And I really didn't like that. This watch looks classy and svelte to me. And the case that I had, which was a good case, good fit, made for the 45mm, it just made it look kind of more towards the G-Shock side of things. And that's not what I'm wanting out of this watch. It is very comfortable on the wrist. It does have like a dome on the back with the sensors for your VO2, your heart rate. Echocardiogram is on the edge of the watch. So that doesn't happen automatically. You have to go to the app and hold your finger and then it reads it. But anyway, that's comfortable to do. That's not bad. This strap is super, super comfortable. I work in a setting where it's a business casual setting. So this is fine. Like if I'm wearing this with a button up or a polo. I mean, I think in this day and age, the way Apple has saturated the market, you could wear this with the suit. I would wear this with the suit. Out of the box, just great feel and great presentation, along with being high quality. So I love that. The dial feels solid. I mean, the display is very vibrant. Like, it doesn't show video, but if you have like an Instagram notification or even an email or something like that come up with a photo, it's an excellent little watch display. So Apple did a really good job with that. And then also I'll say it's pretty easy to use. So one of the things I really like about Apple is their interfaces are very user-friendly, and this is no different. Now, this is not something that I was able to pick up and actually know how everything worked, like to do the heart rate. There is a little bit of work involved, but Apple software makes it easier than it should be on a screen so small. I mean, this is a 45mm version of the Series 7, so it's the biggest one, but it's still a relatively small display and kind of a touch interface. I'm not going to get into too much detail on that, but if you go in an Apple store, you can kind of play around with it and kind of get a feel for it, and you'll find it's easier than it should be. I'll say that. Another thing I'll hop into is the sensors. Like, the sensors on this watch work very well. The heart rate sensor works good. The echocardiogram sensor works good. The VO2 max sensor works well. As far as how accurate they are, I don't know. I haven't compared them against anything, but I will say when I do those or I pull up the applications on this phone for those sensors, I don't get a ton of error messages unless I'm like shaking my wrist around a lot or something like that. They work every single time. This isn't a have-to-have product. and it's not going to change your life. But it is a quality product. You're a fan of Apple, or you at least respect, the quality products that they put out. You won't be disappointed and have regrets spending that kind of money. Haptics on this watch are great as well. I'm not going to check the scratch resistant capabilities of this watch. I am going to order a screen protector, probably a soft plastic one on Amazon. Moving into the functionality of the phone. So I did not realize the distance between my pocket and my wrist. So when I saw the first person I knew with an Apple Watch, I thought that's dumb. You just want to look cool. You're just flipping your wrist all the time, overstimulating yourself, that kind of thing. But that is not the case. My work week has been really busy this week. So what I've noticed is that I'm able to respond to things faster because I don't have to pull this huge smartphone out of my slacks or khakis. I don't have the tightest pants on, but pulling your phone out is a whole ordeal in certain settings, especially when you're super busy. For instance, I volunteer at a large organization and they use Slack. All right, ladies and gentlemen, in this part of the video, I'm simply trying to explain that it's easier to look at my wrist or glance at my wrist and keep track of messages coming in through various apps that I have versus occasionally opening the app on my phone and having to read through the string of messages, especially if I hadn't looked at them in a couple minutes and they're firing off pretty quickly. So I found that to be very, very helpful with this watch. You'll just have to take my word for that or ask somebody with this watch. It made a world of difference, and I'm one that can be slow to respond to things unless somebody's like, hey, I'm going to go out here and text you real quick. Okay, I'll look for that. But with this phone, I probably responded at least 33% faster and more often than I would otherwise. But just in my normal life, with volunteering, friends, and work, this is helpful. And then also I'll say too, the thing about pulling your phone out is that sometimes it's looked down upon. And with glancing at a watch or a smartwatch or just any watch, it's socially more acceptable. So if you're talking to someone and you kind of look down at your lap and you have your phone, you can kind of, even if the person knows you're looking at a smartwatch, or the time, it's a little bit more acceptable than pulling out your phone. I feel like pulling out your phone is kind of disengaging for the moment, whereas glancing at your watch is maybe a minor distraction. So that's very helpful, especially in the professional world. Also with some friends and things like that, maybe you're talking to your parents or, I don't know, somebody who is really intense and they really want that eye contact, it's easier to get away or be forgiven for glancing at a watch. Being able to look and glance at your wrist versus looking at your phone is not life-changing, but it's more of an enhancement than you would think it is. I'll just leave it at that. As far as the battery goes, I have seen people complain about the battery life on this watch. And I will say it can drain quickly if you're on a call. So I was at work yesterday. And I was on hold for like 30 minutes or so after I was done with all that, and I noticed the battery had taken a significant hit. And that was very disappointing because I don't think that's a function that you can kind of disable. I was kind of thrown off at that. But outside of that, I haven't charged this thing in about 24 hours. And I've used it, not super heavily. This is Friday going into Saturday, and I'm at 30%. So I've responded to things and looked at things, and I wore it to sleep. I did not have it do my sleep tracking, so that might have taken the battery down significantly. I do not know. I would say, outside of phone calls, and the battery is good for its size, and it charges in like an hour. So if you get up an hour before you have to leave for work, I would set it on the charger, get in the shower, do your meditation, do your devotional, whatever you're going to do. And even if you have 45 minutes, I think this one actually will charge in 45 minutes. Even if it's half an hour or even 20 minutes, you can get a significant charge on this phone pretty quickly. I use a power brick I had from an old phone. This did not come with a brick, but I use this brick that I had from LG. This is like a 20 watt. I don't know how much faster that makes it charge, but I don't have battery anxiety about this watch. I mean, this is not necessarily a negative, but I would say this watch is probably not going to be great for people who who A, don't have a smartphone, B, who don't use their phone that much at all, or are retired and or live a very, very slow life. Now, I'm not picking on those people. My parents are kind of fit into one or more of those categories, but I would just say this is probably overkill or overstimulation for someone like that. I would say if you have someone who doesn't have a smartphone, they just have a regular flip phone or a feature phone, you might get them this watch, or they might get this watch and have the cellular service set up so that they can use it and get little notifications and text messages if they have grandchildren or just people in their lives that they want to stay in contact with, and they're the type of people that don't want to carry their phone around, this would be a great option, I believe. One other thing that I will jump into as well, the heart rate monitor and the electrocardiogram and the blood oxygen. I just think those are cool, neat things to have that you can look at. Especially if I was sick with like COVID or something like that. I'm in pretty good health, and I don't think that those trackers and sensors are that life-changing, in that if you're not taking care of your health and you're really obese, you have high blood pressure, you have diabetes, and you're not managing it, this watch isn't going to make a difference. Like, you need to take care of that. So I'll just say that. And then as far as this version goes, this is the aluminum case. So yes, it will dent easier. It doesn't have the sapphire glass, so the face will scratch easier, but those aren't really things for me. I don't think you buy this type of device thinking, oh, I have sapphire and stainless steel, I can bang it up now. I wouldn't wear this to a construction site. If I'm a contractor and I don't get my hands dirty, okay. But, other things where you're really getting into chemicals and, having things graze across your wrist, your arm, that kind of thing, it's probably not best to wear a watch at all. The last thing I'll talk about is the cellular function. When I was looking at different watches, I thought about getting one with just GPS, but now I'm pretty serious about having fitness tracking, a smartwatch, that kind of thing. So I may get to a point where I'm in so deep I need cellular, but right now I just don't see the point for me. My phone is always, in my pocket, on my desk, or, within short distance from me. So I was in Oklahoma Joe's eating with a friend, great restaurant, by the way, good ribs. And I went to the bathroom in this medium-sized restaurant. And before I went to the bathroom, I said, hey, you know who, call. And I read out a number. And the watch actually called that number. And I was a pretty good distance from the phone. And that kind of showed me that I really don't need cellular right now. In this office, I'm not going to be so far away from my phone that I can't make a call on this watch. And the second thing I'll say about the cellular option is that I don't believe this watch is strong enough on its own to carry the weight of what you need it to do in place of a cellular phone. I know that's a weird way to put that, but the interface is just so small. You could do this. Again, if I had a flip phone and I was a person who goes to stores and leaves my phone at home, or I'll go visit people or go to church or go out to eat without even carrying my phone because I'm not really attached to it like that. I'm kind of old school. This watch, with the cellular function, would probably be a great option. I had a coworker and we had to go out and run some errands, and she just had her watch, and it was a little cumbersome for her to use it. I mean, it wasn't extraordinarily hard, but it's still more convenient to have a phone. It's not an indictment against the Apple Watch. It's more of an indictment against the form factor, in that, there's a lot of things that I'm still accustomed to doing on a 6-inch screen, or greater. Especially reading emails and things. Like on this watch, you can read an email to a point, but if it's a large email, you're gonna have issues. It won't load the whole thing. I would say the voice to text is very good. The keyboard is easy to use on this watch. And what it does do, you can't watch video or play video, things like that, or get on a YouTube app, but that's really not what this watch is for. I think this watch is more for notifications, quick responses, and just having info very, very readily available to you. at a glance, and I'm fine with that. Okay, the last thing I'll say is if you are considering buying this device, don't take my word for it. Check out several reviews and then go to an Apple store and take a look at it. That's really huge. It's not going to tell you everything, but that's one of the pluses about Apple stores is that you can interact with the product with relative ease going into an Apple store, and it's a laid back setting to where people aren't looking at you and harassing you for picking up and touching the product. So thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.